Welcome to Just Say Okay podcast, where we are learning to be planted while walking on water. Now here's your host, Yolanda Morgan. Hey y'all. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Just Say Okay podcast, where we are learning to be planted while walking on water. I'm your host, Yolanda Morgan, and if this is your first time tuning in, go ahead on and hit that follow button. I promise you won't regret it. On last week's episode, I was pretty much like alluding to some stuff like going on, just letting y'all know that it was some stuff I was having going on in the background, and on this episode I want to make sure I share it with you guys. Because it's also a part of this episode's message. Your girl got a job, y'all. God is so good. Your girl has finally gotten a job. After months, really, like I said, over a year. I haven't had a full-time job in over a year. So it's been a while. It's been a journey. It's been a season. Like I said, I've learned a lot during this time. And one of the number one things that I've learned is God is so good, and He is a provider, and He provides for His people. If He puts you in a season, better believe that He will definitely provide for you, even if you don't understand in that moment. And that's one of the more like famous Bible quotes. You may not understand at this present moment, but in due time, you will. So, yeah. And that's where we're at. Like, God has really done His big one. It's a job that I'm excited about, honestly. I'm gonna be a therapist. So your girl is definitely gonna be helping out some people. But yeah, it's really exciting. And I'm excited to develop in my skills some more. And like, I don't know, continue to grow and continue to be of assistance to people. But yeah, like, I'm excited. So, but yeah, so like I said, your girl is employed, and I gotta say it again. Your girl is employed. But no, like I said, the fact that I'm employed and how it went about happening, is something that I really want to talk about. Yeah. So the title of today's episode is Transition to Position. Let me say it again for the people in the back. Transition to position. And what is that? You may ask, what exactly is that? So pretty much is transitioning into the position that you need to be in order to receive what the Lord is trying to give you. Yeah. It's a lot, y'all. It's a lot. But yeah, so transitioning into the position that you need to be in order to receive what it is that the Lord has for you. And one of the things, like I said, I always try to walk out the things with you all that is has happened in my life or is currently happening in my life. And this particular message is something that I know that God really has worked on me about. He's still working on me about. I know He is continuing to, like, He's going to continue to test me on this, because it's something that it that I really need to get down packed. Um, and I don't know, it was such a blessing for me, like when he gave me the revelation. Um, and I just thought it would be a wonderful thing to share with you guys as well. So to get on into it, so pretty much, like I said, I now have a job. If you didn't hear me the other 5 times, I now have a job. Um, and the way it came about happening is pretty much, it's funny. So the company that I am employed with, um, it's a great company, and it was something that was nice and all of that good stuff. But I don't know what it was. No, yes, I do. So as you guys already know, for the ones who have been following along on this journey with me, um, God gave me the message that I was gonna go end up transitioning back to Atlanta, even though I'm like here in this season now. And he told me that I was gonna go back. So I'm like, okay, God, I'm believing you for that, and you said it's gonna happen and all that good stuff, and I'm believing you for it, cause you tell me this gonna happen, and I believe you. Um, so, and the thing about me, I'm a bit of an extremist. So, um, if you tell me something, we taking it on. I'm running. I'm hitting the track. So you said, okay, I know where I have you at now, but eventually you're gonna transition back to Atlanta. So I'm like, okay, cool, 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 cool. So I am like literally, it's one of those things where he told me I was gonna do it. So I said, okay, bet, let's see it happen. So I'm just waiting. I'm like, okay, God, I know you told me this was gonna be the case and all this, that, and the other. So I'm just waiting. Still applying for places. Because, the concept of faith without works is dead. Still applying to places in Atlanta, putting in all my applications, and when I tell you, these people shooting me down. Shoot me down. And then, like I said, it's always the stuff that you qualified for, that you be kind of like throwed off, like, dang, you really gonna, what is it? What's going on? I'm not comprehending. So just shoot me down. I put in 20 applications. All 20 of them get shot down the next day. Um, put in some and then put in some more. And eventually I was just like, you know what? You gonna have to drop something in my lap, because I ain't applying for no more. So I went on a little time period where I was just like, I'm not applying to nothing else. I'm sick of this. Like, you told me I was going back to Atlanta. I'm trying to put in for jobs because clearly I can't go to Atlanta, especially Atlanta, one of my more expensive places, without an actual job. So putting in the applications and all that good stuff, and it just not happening. And I'm just like, you know what? That's all right. I'm done. So I went into deep, heavy prayer and fasting. Um, did it for 30 days. It was wonderful. Um, and during that time, I was just asking God to like reveal to me what it is that He wants my next steps to be, so that I can get in alignment with what it is that He wants. And was really, really seeking God and all of that good stuff, and asking for an answer when it came to that. And the funny thing about God, a lot of times God will like already be done gave you the answer, and He'll just keep reiterating. Or in my case, He got quiet on me. I was like, okay. Like, knock, knock, knock. You don't hear me calling. You don't hear me saying nothing. Like, what's going on? Like, hey, I'm asking you. He had already told me what it is that he wanted me to do, apparently. But because of that wonderful my will, my way type thing, and mainly my way, was the thing. Because of that, I couldn't hear him, or maybe it wasn't necessarily that I didn't hear him. It's just that I didn't accept, or I didn't comprehend what it is that he was telling me, because it was kind of like far from my mind. Because I know what you told me, God. I know you said I'm going back to Atlanta, so therefore I am not looking at anything else and looking to do anything else. And like I said, I am an extremist, so my thinking and my thought process was like, I don't want to do anything to deter me from like going to the place that you said I'm supposed to be at. I'm like, okay, so let me make sure I'm focusing in on Atlanta area. This is praying and all that good stuff, because that's where you told me I'm gonna be at. So let me focus in over there. And lo and behold, after I did that wonderful 30-day fast, and it was tough, that one, man. I was fighting for my life. That was, you got, like I said, when they say you definitely got to pay attention to what you pray and all that good stuff, you really do have to pay attention to it. So God answered me, like, and he made it plain, and as plain as it can be for me. A lot of times is via a dream. So he gave me a dream, and it was me and my best friend Jay. We riding along in the car. She was like, "Yeah, I don't see you going to Atlanta at this time. It's gonna be about 7 more months before you go to Atlanta." I'm like, what? It's been like 8 months already. Like, when I tell you I was furious in that dream, and they was like, and she was just like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be good. God gonna take care of you," and all that good stuff. So when I woke up, I was in turmoil, because I'm like, but God, you said, Jesus Christ, you said it. And mind you, this was in, like, I had this dream probably in like the end of June, beginning of July sometime. And like I said, I'm in turmoil. I talked to her about it, and she was just like, "Yeah, I don't see you." Like, we weren't per se having the exact same conversation based on that, but I eventually told her about the dream, and in the middle of what was it? No, I'm lying. I'm not lying, but it was we were having a conversation. No, I had told her about the dream. She was like, "Oh, well, it might not mean what you think it mean," and all this, that, and the other. And she was just interpreting all that good stuff. And then some weeks later, we having a whole conversation about something. She was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Honestly, I don't see you going to Atlanta this year." I'm like, "What?" She said, "You're going to go, but it's not going to be this year." I was like, I'm tired. And then I got mad again, because that was the dream. That was her telling me, like, maybe not this year. 7 more months. And, it is what it is. But at that point, I was like, okay, well, since you're not taking me there, what now? What am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to go? So he had me to start applying in the area that I'm in. So started applying to the different places, and it was great. Yeah, and I mean that in like a sarcastic way, cause kept getting told no again, and I was like, okay, well, I'm trying. I'm trying. Like I'm applying. What ended up happening? I call her my grandma. She's actually my little sister's their grandma, but I call her my grandma. She was like, I was just there visiting, just saying hello, and she was like, she just started talking. She was like, out of nowhere, you know, sometimes you have to do stuff that you just try stuff out. You never know what God may be calling you to, and what may be like the thing that you want to do, because you got to actually give it a chance. I'm like, okay, because she like, it's kind of like childcare. Childcare, you will make, because of how you are and like how your spirit is and all that good stuff, you would make somebody good to see about children. And I'm like, I do like children, but it's kind of like I be a little scared. And what ended up, like, she just went on and she was like, child care, and she was like, maybe you should even think about working in a prison. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know. I said, I am a little shook. I be a little shook. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, just the thought of being like in an enclosed space, and I just don't know. And everybody is like, they're human beings just like we are. Like, you literally just don't know. You can get hurt anywhere, to be quite honest. But when you say prison, I'm like, oh Jesus Christ. But she was like, maybe even like something like that. She said the reason you haven't applied for that job is because you scared you're gonna get it. I was like, as soon as she said it, I already knew like what job she was talking about, so I couldn't do nothing but laugh. She was like, you ain't gotta be scared, because just know that like any place that God takes you or puts you, he's gonna take care of you. He's gonna protect you. I was like, okay. And when I tell you, I was crying because I'm like, man, God, I'm scared, because I just want to make sure that I'm not stepping out of place by going to this place, because like I've been here before, and in the essence of moving forward, like we supposed to move forward. That's the thought process. I already been here. I already know about this and all this good stuff. And so I was just like, okay, I couldn't do nothing but cry, because essentially, that's what it was. Like, the fear of it working out, which is crazy. That's one of the fears, and then the other fear, like I said, was the more so of fear of like, am I stepping out of alignment and taking a detour and like getting off the path that you have set before me. And lo and behold, that was the path that he set before me, and I couldn't see it until I got in position. And everything started making sense, because it's like, okay, now you told me this what it was now. And the thing, like I said, the thing with Atlanta, it didn't work out. Not in this season. And it's not saying that it won't work out, but right now, that's just not where he wanted me at. And he made that very apparent, because I did not get a job. Nothing. So, started applying to places in like the Albany area, and nothing came up there, and I'm like, okay, well, okay. and just slowly coming back toward the south. I said, okay, well, all right then, God. And that's not even like the end of the story. So what's funny, um, is the place that I ended up getting a job at. They actually posted the position that I applied for and got 1 week after I was issued my license for social work. My associate license for social work. I ain't a big ALC yet, not just yet, but it's coming. But they actually posted a position that I applied for 1 week after I actually received my license. And what's even funnier, and this was back in May. For context, this was back in May. The beginning of May is when I got my license, and then like the second week in May is when they posted the position for the job that I have now. And what's even funnier is that God like sent somebody to like give me the push, but because I didn't pay attention to it, because I was just so gun ho on getting back to Atlanta, because that's what you told me. You told me I was going back to Atlanta. I missed the message. So here it is. Now we're in September. I'm like, I could have had a job back in May. And maybe it wasn't meant for me to have a job just then, but I feel like I could have had one back in May, because like in reality, he had sent the person to like give me the message like, hey, how about thinking about and when I say it literally was in the same week, y'all, literally in the same week, she was like, hey, I know this person, maybe you should give this area a try, because this is something I found that was like actually really good, and I really enjoyed it and all that good stuff. Just like kind of like encouraging me to give it a try, because she was like, you never know, because my thing was like, oh, I'd be scared, I don't know, but like being out in the community like that, and being in people's homes is what I was concerned about. I was like, I don't know about that, because again, fear, you never really know when something is gonna transpire. But she just was like, no, it's a lot of times it's not like that. You probably end up enjoying it more than you think and all this good stuff. And I was just like, okay, well, thank you. Like I appreciate it, and went on. And like I said, come beginning of July, get the dream. Oh, you're not going back this year. It won't be now. Get the secondary message like, oh, you won't be going back. And I still did not apply to that position. The position that's sitting there waiting on me. But because I wasn't in position, I couldn't see it for what it was. I couldn't understand what it was. I'm just praying and I'm asking God, I just don't understand what you want me to do and all this. He gave me what he wanted me to do back in May, but because it wasn't in alignment with what I thought should be happening, I missed it. I missed the message. And it's like, okay, well, I just had to, like, when all of it came full circle and he put it like gave me the revelation like, hey, you be in your own way. That's really what it is. You were in your own way, Yolanda. And that's why I like the Bible verse, Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding is such a pivotal verse, Because when I say you literally cannot lean on your own understanding, because my understanding said, you said we're going to Atlanta, let's make that happen. Even though everything was kind of like lining up where it was like, you ain't going to Atlanta. But me, and I'm like, but I'm having faith that you said that I'm gonna be in Atlanta. So what are we doing? Um, but a lot of the times along on journeys, and I've learned this several times, but clearly I still don't got the concept. Um, God, a lot of times with journeys, and how God works, He'll give you that end point, but He don't give you the in between. And sometimes the in between look like, hey, you are going to be doing other things. You are going to be working other jobs. You are going to be working in the area that you're in, Yolanda. It's not a thing where you just get the word, get the message, and they go from a lot of times that's not how it works. Now I'm not gonna say that's all the time, because there's a lot of cases where stuff do be instantaneous, but in this case and in a lot of cases, it's a lot of in between that you go through in the process. And ultimately, like I said on last week's episode, it's for your development. A cave season, a hallway season is for your development. But what you do in that time period is so pivotal because it can either make or break. Make or break. Make you or break you. It can literally. So, yeah, you have to get into position. And now that I'm in position, stuff started flowing. I'm like, got the interview, applied to a job, got the interview, connected with my hiring manager and all that good stuff. And I put down a specific salary. And I really approached it from the standpoint of like, God, I know I asked for this, but if you could just give me a little bit more. It ain't gotta be a whole bunch more. Just a little bit more. I'll be like completely satisfied and we'll go on about our business. So that became a thing where I'm wrestling back and forth with it. I'm like, okay, well, do I say something about salary or do they say something about salary? Like, do I say something, God? Cause at this point I'm locked in. I'm like, okay, God, I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing nothing again. So let me continue to consult you and ask them. And then next thing you know, she called my manager, the hiring manager. She called and she was just like, hey, I put together your paperwork and all that good stuff. We are going to offer you the position. I went on and asked for a little bit more than you asked for. And I was like, oh, God. I got to yell. I got to run because he heard me. I asked and he heard me. He like, okay, Yolanda, this is what it looks like when you get in alignment and get in position with what it is that I'm trying to get you to do, get you to learn, get you to see. This is what happens. And, the job is in something that I said that I actually really love, that I know I actually really love, which is, like I said, one of my personal mottos is meeting people where they are. And essentially, that's what I'm going to be doing with the type of therapy that I'm going to be doing. I'm literally going to be meeting people where they are. And I don't know. It's all lined up, y'all. And I can't do nothing but give all the glory to God because he was patient with your girl, because your girl was, I'm just like, hey, even the people around me, the support system that I have, I'm so thankful for them, and I'm thankful for God, like, putting them in my life. like my mom, she's a really big support, and she's been like one of the heavy anchors of what it is of like this season. Like I said, it's been over a year. I couldn't have did it alone. And one of the things that she shared with me is that like God had told her um a while ago that before even this season even started, like he told her like you're gonna have to help Yolanda. And it's like, okay, well, in what context? And here it is. Been a year without a job, and she's been right here helping me with everything that pretty much that I need. And it's not just her, but shouts out to her because she's a real MVP. Um, but several of my friends and my friends that are actually family, just a lot of other family members and stuff. Just, you know, my heart is full because a lot of people have really helped me during this time, and just really thankful, really thankful. We're gonna hold it together though, hold it together. But yeah, ultimately, like I said, thank you to God, and thank you to my peoples that held me down during this time. But yeah, so with all of that, and I hope you got something from the story and the example. Get in position. You're not waiting on God. God, God is literally waiting on you to get in position so He can. So if you feel like if you're in your life and you feel like you're hitting roadblocks, maybe you're out of position. Maybe God is trying to tell you something. Maybe He's trying to transition you into position with the roadblocks. But ultimately, you won't know unless you're locked in with God, unless you're paying attention to what it is that He's trying to tell you. Another thing, don't allow fear to stop you from what it is, transitioning into what God is trying to get you to go into. One of the Bible verses that God pointed out to me, and that He spoke to me about, looking at things through a fear-based perspective. And the specific Bible verse that he was like pointing out is how Saul, talking about King Saul, and how he went about his relationship with David from a fear-based perspective, where like God sent David into Saul's life to help him. And that literally is all David ever did while he was alive. Like while King Saul was still alive, David didn't do anything but assist him. Fought the big fight against the Philistines, defeated the Philistine that no one in his army, King Saul's army, seemed to could defeat. And same thing with like when God sent the spirit onto Saul for being disobedient. David literally would have to play the harp in order for that spirit to calm down. David, not anybody else, David. So it's like one of those things where it's like, because Saul got the memo or got the message that, oh, well, God is going to raise him up as king, he just lost it and started making the craziest decisions based out of fear of losing everything. Started making the craziest decisions based on fear. Looking at things, he looked at David and said, you know what? If people are saying that you're greater than me and God is going to raise you up to be the next king of now, I can't see you as anything other than an enemy because I'm scared that people are telling me you are going to be the one to take everything from me, instead of Saul looking at him and embracing him and being like, okay, It could have the story could have worked out a whole lot differently if it would have been the case where he would have just embraced David and embraced the help that God was sending him. And because, like people point out, ultimately, David was a soldier in Saul's army. Like, his army. He the king, but he couldn't see it for that. He couldn't see him for the assistance, for the person he was because of fear. But yeah, pay attention to what you're fearing, because sometimes fear can be from, like, okay, this might be something you don't need to do, but other times fear can be from, this is new, this is different, this is something I actually need to do. I'm afraid of succeeding at this. I'm afraid that this is going to be the thing that I go into in light because I didn't see it for myself. But a lot of times God sees stuff for us and has stuff for us that we don't see for ourselves. So, yeah. Yeah. Get into position, y'all. Get into position. Because your girl is learning that. I'm going to continue to learn it. I'm going to continue to embrace it. But it's really important for you to get in position and get in alignment with God and where He's trying to take you and what He's trying to do. Because if not, you'll be stuck. You'll be stuck in your cave. You'll be stuck where you're at. Until you decide, like, hey, okay. And sometimes a lot of people don't even get the opportunity to decide to, like, okay, well, I'm going to go on. Sometimes God call your name and that be it, honestly. So while you're here, get in alignment, get in position. Transition into position, y'all. But yeah. That's pretty much it for today. Yeah. What I'm saying okay to this week. Getting into position. Continuing to seek God and getting into position. So yeah. Like I said, lean not to your own understanding and get in position. Other than that, as always, go out there, just say okay, be blessed, and have a good one. Well, look at you staying the whole time. Thank you for tuning in to Just Say Okay podcast. If you would like to reach me, you can follow me on Instagram at justsayokaypod_, or you can email me at okgodpod@gmail.com. And as I said before, ain't nothing to it but to do it. Just say okay, y'all. Have a good one.